Welcome to the show. Hi, I'm Randy Jeffers, and we are live from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Well, we have an old friend of mine here, Stephen Magnotti from Philadelphia. And Stephen is the president of Inversion
Point
International. Yep. Now, Inversion Point International is a holding company for a whole bunch of businesses you have.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. So, as you know, Randy, I've been in the wireless industry for the last 6 years or so, and what we've been doing is what Inversion Point does, we manufacture custom routers for the wireless industry. We also provide service.
Now, when you say wireless industry, you're talking about cell phones and...
Correct. I mean, what we primarily make is custom routers for enterprise as well as for government. We do a lot of custom solutions. In addition to that, we also provide service to other people who want to get into the wireless industry. So instead of going to the carrier because they're not big enough, they go to someone like me. We help them get into the wireless industry.
Wow. So what kind of company would approach you with that?
So like a startup company that doesn't have the contacts into, say, T-Mobile, AT&T, right? Because they don't have whether the credit facilities or they're brand new, right? And they don't even know who to contact, right? So they contact my company. We assist them in obtaining the contracts, right? Setting them up. We help them with an operate OSS platform as well as a billing platform, so they can completely manage their company as if they're full functioning multi-million-dollar wireless carrier. So
companies that have maybe a large number of representatives, for instance, maybe a network marketing company would be good, or a big company that has a lot of employees. Right?
Sure, absolutely.
Like
yeah, we've worked with affiliate groups. We've worked with most level marketing companies, right? People who want to get into the wireless industry because they know the appeal. Everyone needs a cell phone. We're all connected to our cell phones nowadays.
Yeah.
But they don't know how to get into the industry, right? So they go to us. We help them with both, the consulting we give, the contracts we give, the platforms we give. We give them very powerful tools so they can be very successful in this industry that's very hard to navigate.
Yeah, it kind of is hard when you don't know what you're doing. That's right. Now you have agreements and contracts and relationships with all the big carriers. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. So
at least the four big ones.
Yeah. So Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, T-Mobile, as well as Verizon to an extent. We primarily focus on what a lot of people like looking for is the lower cost carrier. So that tends to be Sprint and T-Mobile. They're the ones recently, as you've seen, they've been pushing the price down, right? So they've been pushing unlimited data, they've been pushing unlimited everything, a bunch of perks, and pushing the price down, which has been great for consumers, right? And for that reason, a lot of people want to use that product because a lot of people are cost conscious, right? A lot of people.
Yeah, of course.
And they also want a product that's like, quote unquote, sexy in the market. And right now, Sprint, T-Mobile, very sexy in the market. A lot of people are talking about them. They're doing a lot of great things. And now every network's like within 1% of each other in terms of reliability. Whereas before, if you remember, like 10 years ago, if you used T-Mobile, you couldn't even get service around here, right? So nowadays, everyone's very much neck and neck.
So they really are about the same.
Yeah, I would say within 1%. I mean, it's very much market by market, right? So if you look at like the Northeast, Verizon tends to be the best. You go down south, AT&T tends to work better, right? In certain areas like T-Mobile, they've done a lot of third-party tests where you look at like T-Mobile speeds, right? In a lot of areas, T-Mobile's the fastest data network,
really?
Hands down. Yep, absolutely.
They've come a long way.
Oh, absolutely. And Sprint's like right on their heels.
Wow.
They're deploying they're calling it LTE Plus, right? So they're using high band spectrum, which is allowing them to have a lot of capacity. And they're doing a lot of carrier aggregation, so basically bonding the network together. And what that allows them to do is deliver a very fast, very reliable, very consistent data speed for the customers, right? And for data products, we like using Sprint and T-Mobile, right? And we're currently working on a project right now to provide a home internet service using Sprint because of that, all the development they've done in advanced LTE.
So you'll be able to get your internet from your cell phone, essentially, right?
Correct. Do you remember the company Clearwire or Clear 4G? Remember that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So what they did is they basically were using technology known as WiMAX, right? Which was it was a 4G technology, but it was right before LTE became like the go-to technology for 4G, right? So but their whole idea was, if we were able to get reliable, fast internet speeds over the air through WiMAX. So basically provide home service using WiMAX. People could use it, at home. They could take it with them. They could put them in their car, and wherever they go, they always have the fastest data speeds available. So basically, the idea was like almost taking your cable modem from home and always having it with you, right? And so that's what we're looking to do now, right? Because we looked at the business model they had, we saw what the shortcomings were, and we've developed a product that will not slow down, right? Which was the biggest complaint of Clearwire.
Yeah.
And with the new build out of Sprint, in terms of coverage and things of that nature, that were another shortcoming of Clearwire. That's something that's the thing of the past, right? Because their coverage, again, like I noted earlier, is 1% of all the other carriers.
So what would a service like that cost, do you think? Is the price going to go down? Are they going up?
Well, prices are going down, but I mean, what we're going to deliver is a very, in terms of what the market's offering, a very aggressively priced product, right? So it's going to be within the $60 range, right? And what's going to allow a lot of people who are cord cutters, right? So people who are not subscribing to Comcast TV or DirecTV or things of that nature, they'll be able to stream their Hulu, Netflix, 24/7, 365 without it slowing down at all. So it's going to be we're really excited about it, and we're really excited for it to launch, which should be end of next month.
So you're really not at the mercy. Like, for instance, I just got back from a trip. I was out of the country, and you're really at the mercy in a lot of these places of the hotel that you're in, for instance, or
Correct.
the area that you're in. Now, with that kind of service, then that no longer is a problem, right?
Right. So, so think of my analogy earlier, like basically taking your Comcast router from home, bringing it with you. So we developed a router that it's sizable enough to power your house, but small enough to take with you, right? So you can. So I was just staying in Las Vegas. Instead of me paying $20 a night to use the internet, I just used my router. I was getting faster speeds than I would got at the hotel anyway. So it's a really compelling product, and it's also great for people who are in areas where they can't get Comcast, right? They're stuck with DSL or HughesNet, like satellite internet, which is not reliable. It's not fast. What this product does gives you a super fast, reliable, take it with you internet.
Wow, that's fabulous, amazing. The world is changing so fast. It's just incredible. What do you see from your point of view, because you're in the business? What's the future like for this whole area?
So I think the future eventually is going to be kind of like what we're kind of betting on. The future here is that eventually you're not going to have cords tying you down anywhere, right?
Yeah.
If you think about it now, right? So if you look how you used the internet 10 years ago, right? You'd have to go on your computer, right? If you try to look at it on your phone, you kind of prayed you didn't hit the browse button because you'd pay all that money, right?
Right.
Nowadays, everyone looks on their phone, right? So I think that type of movement in the market is going to continue to the future, and even more aggressively, right?
Yeah.
So eventually we won't have the way we get TV will be all over the air, over the internet, right? As well as our home internet as well.
Wow, fascinating. So you're from Philadelphia. That's where your headquarters is, right?
Correct.
Yeah. What's Philadelphia? What's it like to live there?
It's a very interesting city. I mean, it's always something to do. What I love about Philadelphia is all the restaurants, right? As you can probably tell. I love eating. So it's great food, especially in the summer. I love it there in the summer. You can always find a nice place to eat outside, have a nice beer, enjoy the city, right? And it's also one of the largest places for museums, which I love going to. And there's always something to do. It's a nice city.
Yeah, and you have a Rocky statue there.
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, very exciting. Now, as I mentioned when we first started, that Inversion is a holding company. You do a lot of different things and sort of have a lot of irons in the fire, right? Your fingers in a lot of places.
Correct.
But what are some of the other things you're doing?
Well, the company I was talking about earlier was called Ging, which is, we're calling it that. It's get it and go, right? So the idea of having super fast, take it with you internet, right? So Ging. We're also working on several international products, right? So products you can do roaming throughout the world, right, without only paying one bill, right? So, something else. And then we're also getting to nutraceuticals as well, creating, which is a big step from telecom, but creating basically a sublingual CBD product that you can use, and I mean, it's phenomenal what CBD has been able to do. Like, the more research people have done, seeing how it cures, it can help alleviate. It's great anti-inflammatory. It helps with a lot of chronic pain. And
It's great for seizures, right?
It's great for seizures. That company was probably going to get FDA approval for that, using CBDs to treat help with seizures as well, right? And I think it's really exciting what that's another thing that I think is going to be the future as well, in terms of using what we have on this earth to treat our different illnesses and ailments. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, I had a chance to meet a couple of your partners in that business, and they're both brilliant guys. But one of your medical directors he is unbelievable. He is so smart, Ron. Right?
Oh,
Ron
Ramafone.
He is just incredible.
Yeah, and he has an incredible story. He had he's always better at telling it, but he's actually wound up developing a really successful. He's an herbalist, right? And he's created a lot of different supplements and things of that nature. I told you in the car earlier that my brother was sick. He had a really bad strep, and he was taking various antibiotics, and okay, that didn't work, so the doctor gave a new one, right? But Ron he's like, Steve, don't put that crap in your body. I got something else for you, right? And he put something together. When I was told it didn't taste the best, but it worked extremely well. Within 2 days, he was cleared up. He was back to his normal self. So it was phenomenal.
Isn't it amazing how just the natural things are really what works the best? The things that were just God made, right? And the natural plants, and they're really the solution to almost everything that is wrong with us.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but so many of us, we just rely on medicines and pharmaceutical things, drugs, things doctors recommend to us, and they're really not the answer.
Yeah, and it's crazy when you look at a lot of Western medicine in terms of all the pharmaceuticals that they put out there, in terms of the damage it actually does to your body, right? I mean, there's a reason that half the commercial for any different medicine they have out there, it's all disclaimers saying this may cause this, and this, all the different ailments that it causes.
Exactly.
A lot of the times you're just poisoning yourself, and it creates just basically like a cyclical, sick type of healthcare, right? So it's sick care, not healthcare, right? So.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. It is sick care. So that's a big departure from the wireless industry. That's almost like the opposite in a way.
Well, you could look at it that way, but what I kind of think it's very similar in that we're, when I went out and we started at Inversion Point and everything we did, we looked to help people, right? Because it's a very predatory industry, telecom, right? It's a lot of. And so we try to help people, and we also try to help our consumers, have a lower cost product, right? Have a, great product that, a lot of people pay a lot more money for, but they get it for a cheaper price, right?
Right.
So in the same type of mentality, right, we're looking to heal people, right, who, kind of like we were talking about earlier with the pharmaceuticals, they've been getting a lot of damage from the things they've been putting in their body, right? So we want to help them, heal themselves naturally and live a very healthy, fulfilling life. So I think it's very different industries, but I think the whole mindset and our concept and our heart is still the same.
Well, that's great. Now you're involved in I think a number of businesses. Any others you want to talk about? Yeah,
I also work on. We do a lot with custom government things as well as enterprise. We do a lot of custom, routers and things of that nature. We're also working on a product right now that would basically be a secure communication app, right? So I don't know if you read Forbes a lot, but there was a huge article in Forbes about, stingrays within Washington, D.C., right?
And stingrays.
So a stingray is, it's basically a device that, NSA and the government uses that can act as a cell phone, right? So your cell phone, if you have Verizon, show up Verizon, you'd have no idea that actually it's a false tower, right? That's reading every text message that's going through it, every piece of data, and also listens live to every call you have, right? So basically it's eavesdropping, right? Remember Snowden, when he left, right, he talked about that, right? And so we're working with a group right now who has a new product that basically would allow you to basically they call it white noise, right? So if someone listens to it, it would basically block a stingray from listening to you, right? And it would also, if someone listens to it, they would literally just hear white noise, right? So they wouldn't hear any.
Wow.
Yeah. So in this crazy world we live in, it's we're seeing a lot of people really concerned with security, right, and privacy.
That's scary. Do you think that's happening a lot? Is it something that, that the average person really should be concerned about?
Well, I mean, certain things I can't talk about, but I'll say it happens a lot more than you would think, right? And it's happening. In the Forbes article, it also talked about foreign entities, so foreign governments, having stingrays in our country too. They counted about 50 in Washington, D.C. alone that they could not account for. The FCC could not account for. Mm-hmm. And it's a really scary thing that you have foreign governments, whether it be Russia, China, or someone listening to your conversations or our government's conversations, right? And not having that secure communication is a scary thought. I mean, 20 years ago when we weren't using cell phones, we weren't that concerned, right? And but nowadays, just everything's kind of like I was saying, everything's going to the internet. Everything is eventually, there's really no privacy anymore, right?
So we have to worry not just about our own government eavesdropping on us, but also foreign countries.
Right, and hackers, and I mean, there's a lot of, basically your cell phone's a mini computer, right? And you're always worried about, you have anti-spy software on there, right, or antivirus, right?
Right.
And, firewall, make sure you don't have hackers. Same thing with your cell phones. A lot of people don't think to do that for their cell phones, and it's a very vulnerable device.
So how do you counteract that? What do you do? Are there special programs you can buy? What would be the first?
Well,
thing?
yeah, I mean, so this product, secure communications is key, right? So you look at applications that are like encrypted, like WhatsApp. The great thing about WhatsApp, it's encrypted, right? So that communication's not easily picked up or seen through interception, right? Also, it's just being smart, right? I always tell people, if you want to not worry about that, then stay below the noise. Don't say things on your phone on the internet that you don't want someone else reading, because they probably are, right?
Interesting. And your passwords are important, right? Make sure you have a real password.
Yeah, I mean, I change my passwords religiously, and I have different passwords for everything. It's a simple thing, but
so you don't use Stephen 1 for everything?
No, Stephen 2, actually.
Oh, Stephen 2.
Yeah, it's a little more secure.
I guess so. But it's amazing that a lot of people do that. They just pick, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just
or password. Yeah, it's actually
they write the word password, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. I've done some IT consulting, and it's crazy seeing how some people's passwords, if I told you, just blow your mind. It's either password or the first name or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, whatever numerical value they need to hit. So.
Yeah. Well, it's a scary world we're living in. Every day in the news you're hearing about things like this. Where we're just being invaded, and from places that we wouldn't even think. It's just, you think you're making a phone call and it's just the two of you talking, but lots of people are listening, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's better. I tell people it's always better to be safe than sorry, right? And having a peace of mind, in terms of privacy, I think it's always key, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So how'd you get involved in all these things? Tell us a little bit about you. You grew up in Philadelphia, right?
Yeah, no, I grew up in actually New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey.
It was a little bit after school. I was always interested in technology, and I started working for a company, Sprint and Nextel, right? And for them, I was primarily selling in it was a corporate account manager, right? So I was selling to companies primarily M2M, data, right? So basically enabling things like telematic solutions, GPS tracking, things of that nature, asset tracking, right? And from there, I decided that I was looking at the market. I was like, this company, T-Mobile, they're small. They just almost got bought by AT&T. Yeah. That they got blocked, as you know, and they have all this money, and they're trying to really disrupt the market. So I went there, and eventually became the senior business development manager for the Northeast, right? So I primarily worked on, basically enabling companies to resell their data network, right? And while I was there, I'm like, I have all these great concepts, and I think, being stuck in just, one company, one market, I think it'd be a lot better if I, reach out to all the other contacts I have, nationwide. And so from there, I went out on my own, and it's probably one of the hardest things I ever did. sometimes do I wonder, it's the greatest thing I ever did, I don't know, but it's been very rewarding in terms of the people I've met, clients I've helped, and the relationships I've made. It's been phenomenal.
Wow. Well, it sounds like you're really onto some things that are just phenomenal, and
Yep.
a lot of potential, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you grew up in New Jersey, you said, or New Jersey or New York?
New Jersey.
New Jersey, and
Yeah, my family still lives there today.
what town?
They live in Millburn, New Jersey, which is North Jersey. I have one of 5, so I have 2 older brothers, a twin sister, and a younger
You have
brother.
a twin sister?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
And what's that like?
It's like having another sibling, just same age, right? So, but she's great. She has a doctorate in mechanical engineering, very smart. She studies fuel injections in diesel engines. She works at a research lab outside of Chicago. So I don't see her too often, but it's just we stay very much in contact, very close. So it was great growing up, though. You always had like a best friend there, you know.
Someone the same age.
Yeah, exactly.
So I could see with identical twins, if you had a brother, for instance, that was identical, you hear these stories about how you can feel each other's pain, or are you're thinking the same thing at the same time.
The only pain we ever felt was the pain that we caused one another when we'd fight. But
that doesn't work with a boy and a girl.
No, I don't think so. But it's crazy. What's crazy is it's crazy how many people actually ask us, "Are we identical?"
Yeah, right.
And boy and girl, so I'm like,
no, I'm a boy. She's
Yeah.
a girl.
So
yeah, that is. Yeah, people don't even stop to think. They just
they just
ask it.
Yeah, I think it's like a knee-jerk reaction to.
So
you're a twin.
only identical twins would have that.
I
those
believe
extra things.
I believe so.
Yeah.
But I also think it's also a matter of being so close to someone, right? So I guess being in the womb, or we're inseparable, growing up, we're always together. So I think from that you can kind of know what someone's thinking, right? You know them almost as well as you know yourself.
I guess that's right. Yeah.
So that's my thought on it.
So how did you get to Philadelphia?
We're Sprint. So I was working for Sprint. I was working out of Wayne, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really want to live in the suburbs, so decided on Philadelphia. But Philadelphia's been great, though. So I like it. It's actually a really exciting time to be in Philadelphia because of Villanova winning, as well as the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. So the city went pretty crazy when that happened, but it's always a good time there.
I heard they were climbing light poles and
all
kinds of crazy things.
It was pretty funny. My girlfriend, her family lives in northeast Philadelphia, and there's this intersection, Frankfurt and Cottman, right? And everyone just congregates there whenever there's like a major sporting victory, right? And they all just party there in the streets, and people climbing the poles. Actually, they say the police had to grease the light poles with Crisco, I think they used.
I read that.
Yeah. It's true. And then I think that was when they won the championship and won the Super Bowl. They put motor oil because it didn't.
Crisco didn't work as well.
It wasn't strong enough, I guess. So
it is amazing what people do with sports. I guess we're in for that here. Maybe.
You guys
with
are
the Golden Knights.
Yeah.
We have the Raiders coming too.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. When's the Raiders coming?
I think next year is their last year in Oakland, I believe, and then
that's
they'll have
exciting.
the Coliseum built and everything will be ready to go. But we have the Golden Knights here, and they're in the playoffs now. They just won the first round, so we'll see how that goes. But
it's exciting.
They're an amazing team.
Yep.
So you think you'll stay in Philadelphia, or you think you'll head out to other places?
I'm not sure. I mean, I've always kind of toyed with the idea of moving down south, but who knows? Maybe we'll be neighbors here in Las Vegas. So
I highly recommend it. Las Vegas is a great place to live, and
it's really good food.
It's paradise, that's for sure. Anybody out there, if you have never thought about living in Las Vegas, you might want to think about it because it is a great place. And a lot of people, they think if you live here, you're on the Strip every day, you're gambling, and you're going to a party every night. You don't realize that this is a very normal town. Actually, probably more normal than most towns, as long as you don't go to the Strip every night, But it's a pretty cool place to live.
Yeah, but I mean, even though the Strip, I mean, it's pretty interesting. I mean, seeing all the casinos, it's really cool experience. Also, if you like people watching, this is probably the best city to be in for people watching, right?
They come from all over the world.
Yep.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible.
No, yeah, you guys have Fremont Street, right?
Fremont Street and the Strip, both of them are just amazing places and so different. Actually, there's really something for everybody here. But the best food in the world is here.
Oh yeah.
Some of the, all the great chefs that you see on television, they're all here, and actually they're the celebrities now. More than the music people. You see on the sides of the big casino buildings, you'll see a picture of a famous chef. It's crazy. So, well, I hope you come.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you guys have buffets, which I'm a big fan of. So,
well, there are a lot of buffets here, and out in the middle of the desert, it's amazing. The seafood that's here, and I don't know how it gets here every day.
I was kind of,
magical.
It's funny you say that. My partner and I, we went out. Cause I love sushi, right? So, we decided on going to this place. I think it was called Makino.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's like all you can eat sushi Japanese place.
Yeah.
And as I was eating it, I was talking to him, and then I just thought, I'm like, there's no water around here, so how does the seafood get here? But I'm like, I'm eating this, so whatever. I'll worry about that later.
There's a great big airport right by the Strip. So
absolutely.
I'm sure that's how it got here, but yeah, it is amazing with all the people that come through here and all the food that gets devoured every day, and the next day it just magically appears.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what else is exciting in your life?
I think I'm really excited when I get back to spend time. I have a 3-year-old mini border collie, right? Her name's Holly, and she's a handful, but she's probably my best part of the day, right? No matter how hard of a day I had, I come home, she's always there, always happy, and yeah, she's a blast. So, and then I have my girlfriend back in Philadelphia, so it's gonna be nice. It was nice visiting here, but it's gonna be nice to be back in Philadelphia.
It's always nice to go home.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
any wedding bells or anything in the future?
Oh, I mean, we'll see. I think I got to figure out where I'm moving to first, and then we'll figure that out. So
that might have something to do with it, huh?
Yeah. So we just got to see where these companies are going and what's going to make the most sense for me to be.
So what do you see happening in your business life in 4, 5, 6 years?
Ideally, what we'd like to do is, really build out Ging, as I mentioned, right, and really take that once carriers go to 5G, and you're looking at gigabit internet speeds, right? So basically, right, 40 times faster than your average home internet connection, right?
40 times.
That's what. Yeah. So right now, the average internet speed's around 25 megabits per second, and with gigabit, you get about 1,000, right? So it's a gig, and they're saying that's happening in the next 3-4 years, which is going to be really exciting for that industry, right? Because you're talking about not needing that's what I'm telling you, where you're not going to need a Comcast internet connection. You just need a wireless router, and you're up and going. So it's going to be really interesting industry to be in, and the main focus aside from that is also Path of Purity, the CBD product I mentioned earlier. And really building out and adding more products and more different supplements to really, help people get healthy and have fulfilling lives, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think, just really building those two out and, just trying to, do as much as I can and take it from there and have some fun along the way. So that's the plan.
Oh, that's great. Now, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, we talked about the wireless and how if somebody has an organization with a lot of members or a company with a lot of employees, and somebody wants to custom design some sort of a wireless product for themselves, they can get a hold of you and you can help them?
Yeah, absolutely. They can go to our website, inversionpointintl.com.
So www.inversion.intl.com. Okay.
Should probably work on getting a shorter URL, right? So,
as long as it works, that's all that matters.
Exactly. So, yeah, they can go there. They can contact us, and we can help them with whether they want custom hardware, whether they want their own branded wireless, or they need a consultation on a project they're working on in the wireless space. We're more than able and willing to help them. So
okay, now if somebody wants to know about this new product that you're talking about, Gang, right?
Yeah, so that product's going to be coming out pretty shortly. The website's still under construction. There's some information on it on Inversion Point's website, but the URL for that's going to be getgang.com. But that's
Get Gang. And how do you spell gang?
Ging.
Ging. Okay.
Yeah, get it and go.
So get G-E-T, www.getging.com.
Mhm.
Is that it?
Getgang.com. Yep.
Well, very cool. Now, how about the health products that you mentioned, the CBD products? You call it Path of Purity.
Correct. Right.
Okay.
So the website's not completely up yet, but the website is pathofpurity.com.
Okay.
And on there, they'll be able to become an affiliate. They can look at information about the product.
Mhm.
They can order product and just get more information. Really see, the case studies. You can also research for themselves the case studies about CBD, how it's impacted people's lives, how it's helped them. Where they have Parkinson's, MS, chronic pain, etc., and all the success stories people have had. And I think it's going to be really exciting. We have more products coming out too, so it's that's going to be a really great story to tell. Even more later down the road. So.
Yeah, and you have medical people, I understand, that are involved with you in this, that people that are developing some of these products?
Correct.
Is that right?
Gentleman Ron Buffone, he's developing a lot of stuff, as well as this gentleman by the name of Dr. Bill. Brilliant man, one of the smartest men I've ever met. He's really the brains behind the formula for the CBD sublingual that allows it to be delivered into your bloodstream very quickly, very effectively, and efficiently. In terms of bioavailability, it's a premium product, right? And it's all because of him. And I'm also working with a gentleman by the name of Hal Jones, who's a very knowledgeable man who knows a lot of people, and has been really the backbone in just facilitating everything, getting this done, and getting us to where we need to be with this product. So we're really excited, and I think with everyone we have on board, it's just success story waiting to happen. So.
Well, I happen to know Hal, and I've known him for more than a decade. I'm not sure how many years. I probably won't even say if I could remember.
Right.
He really is an amazing guy. Just an incredible guy. He's from Georgia, right?
Yeah, he's from a small town called Mass in Georgia, and I've actually been partners with them for years, and I've actually never been there, but we always have no problem us both hopping a plane going to Vegas, and
so you meet in Vegas mostly?
Yeah, Vegas mostly, as well as Atlanta. We've also met in New Jersey. We meet wherever the business is, Florida. So we travel a lot together, and we always have great time together and great stories, and it's always a good time. So
it's interesting you've never been to his house, to his town.
No, yeah. Well, it's also, Madison's like 45 minutes from the airport too of Atlanta, right?
Yeah,
so
it's just not convenient.
Yeah. But from what he tells me, it's a beautiful town and a lot of great food, golf. So.
Yeah, that's a beautiful part of the world for sure.
Absolutely.
But not like Philadelphia, right?
I don't know if depends who you ask, I guess.
See,
if you ask me, I'd say Philadelphia's a little better, right? But Hal tells you that's God's country where he's from. So.
Well, see, you get to shovel snow and do all those things, and he doesn't get a chance to do any of that.
Well, that's why I live in a building in Philadelphia, so I don't have to shovel. So that's if you're out there, it's a smart thing to do.
So you live right downtown?
Yeah, I live right downtown. I live right where. Basically they call it Center City, so it's like the downtown part. So I'm really close to all the museums, bars, restaurants, anything you want. I'm like walking distance. So especially in the spring, summer, it's great. Just walk around everywhere.
Sidewalk cafes.
Exactly, and there's a lot of new construction, so a lot of new things popping up. It's actually one of the fastest growing cities right now.
Really?
Yeah, there's right now it's still Atlanta and Philadelphia, the two only large cities that are affordable left in the United States, right? And so there's been a lot of development now in Philadelphia, a lot of investors coming in, really building up the city. So
what makes it so affordable? Why is it?
Well, I think it's just because economically Philadelphia had for the longest time struggled for a while, right? So, but recently they've been really picking up, and so a lot of companies are coming. And so a lot of businesses are opening up to bring their companies to Philadelphia, like Inversion Point. And so I think from that standpoint, they're trying to really build it so it's like more of a tech city, right? So bring in high tech companies, bring in banking, financials, etc. So I think more companies that come, so a lot more people are working, wages go up, so the
Right.
economy gets better, so it gets pricier then, right? So, but for living there, if you like food, you like museums, you like shows, concerts, it's the place to be.
So a lot of the famous music people come there?
Yeah, we have a bunch of different venues there, or even right across the way to Camden. There's BB&T. There's a lot of different concert venues, and there's always something going on, especially in the summer or spring. Tons of concerts, tons of even outdoor concerts, which are always fun. So it's a good time.
Now Camden is in
New Jersey.
New
So
Jersey.
yeah, it's right across the
So
bridge.
you're right on the. So how far are you away from where you grew up?
About hour 45 or
So not very far at all.
No, yeah. So I drive there sometimes, visit my family, bring my dog there because now they live like down the shore. So I bring my dog out there. She likes the wind from the water, go crabbing, make lobster bisque. It's a good time.
So what's the river between Philadelphia and Camden? It's a river, right?
That's Delaware.
It's Delaware River.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of the country I'm not all very familiar with, but
Right.
yeah, I've heard it's just absolutely beautiful.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Again, there's something for everyone there in that city. So it's very much like here, like Vegas. It's I don't know if you call it normal city like you call this, but it's a really great city to be in. A lot of fun.
Well, very good. Well, let me ask you this: if you were me,
Mhm.
what question would you want to ask me if my name was Stephen?
What would I want to ask you?
What's nobody ever asked you before?
I guess so. You asked me like, what would I want this to be in 5-6 years, and then, so I guess question would be, where would I want my company to be, in 50 years, right? And
Okay.
so my plan is really what I want to do is build up the wireless, right? And then what I really want to get into is really help people, right? So the Path of Purity, the idea is there to help people. So I want to donate some of the proceeds we make from the wireless as well as Path of Purity, and give free healing for people, right? So whether that's giving them free CBD products, supplements, etc. I want to give back to the community and really help people and help them heal and help them live better lives, right? And I think the way it is right now with Western medicine, a lot of people are not getting the care they need, right?
They're not. That's for sure.
It's a lot of these hospitals are just profit centers, right? And so I think what I really want to do is really help people. I want to make sure I help my parents, my siblings. So as we all get older, we make sure they have the best care possible, right? And make sure just really give back to the world who's given me a lot, right? A lot of opportunity, a lot of chances,
Yeah.
and I want to give that back. So that's my end goal.
Well, that's excellent. There's givers and takers in life, right? It sounds
Right.
like you're a giver.
Well, that's what I really want to do, because you say I'm a giver, but I feel like I've been given a lot, right? So a lot of opportunity, right, and a lot of things have come together, whether it be fate, etc. But I feel like the world's given me a lot, and allowed me to be successful as I have been. And I want to return that favor back to the world and help people who have no one to help them. So.
Well, you've had this incredible thread of success in your life, and who do you look to for guidance? Who are your biggest mentors?
Be my father, my mother.
Yeah.
My father's a very successful businessman, one of the smartest men I've ever known, and my mom's extremely intelligent woman. She was an engineer. She's a doctorate in metaphysics, so alternative healing as well. And because of that, her metaphysics, her getting a doctorate in that, and always really preaching about the use of herbal medicine. Every time I go home, she hands me a handful of vitamins, tells me to take that. Somehow or another, I always felt better. So I researched that more, and that really got me passionate about doing the Path of Purity, as well as my father being, his technical background really pushed me into the telecom space. A little bit different than what he did, but it's very very similar as well.
So if you were to describe your father, for instance, let's start with your father, and you were just to real quickly talk about his qualities, his best qualities, how would you describe him?
What I would say is he's very kind, somewhat soft-spoken, but has a really strong presence, right? So extremely intelligent, right? So, and he's also a great teacher, right? So I've had, early ages of Inversion Point, when I first started, I asked him a lot of questions, advice and things of that nature, and he was always very, in how he explained things in a way that you understand, but also, gives you a whole wealth of knowledge. So.
Well, and how about your mother?
I describe my mom as, someone who really was the backbone of the family growing up, who really held things in order, right? If she wasn't there, it was a little chaotic, and she taught me, my strong sense of morals and from right and wrong, and also one of the smartest women I've ever met, right? And I said my father's a good teacher. My mom's even better, right? So she could teaching me about herbal medicine, teach me about math, science growing up, and she was just a great inspiration, as well as my grandparents as well.
So let's say there's a little Stephen in your life someday,
Mm-hmm.
and he grows up. What would you like him to say about you?
I'd like him to say that I was someone who really pushed him to succeed, someone who wanted the best for him. Maybe a little tough love, but someone who really pushed him to be the best man he could be, right? Treat his everyone in his family with respect, as well as others, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that says a lot about someone, how you treat even complete strangers, right? So I think that says a lot, and I want him to also say that I was someone who gave back, and who just cared. So.
Now, of course, with your genes, you may have a little Stephen and a little Stephanie, right?
Well, actually, I heard it skips a generation. So
it does?
Yeah, so I'm sure little Stephen is going to have little Stephen and Stephanie. So, yeah.
So it really does skip a generation.
That's what they say, but I'm not too sure. But then again, I could always, wind up with someone who had twins in a previous generation, so now they're due for twins. So I think it's a flip of a coin.
You never
honest.
know about those things. That's
Absolutely.
Right. Well, Steve, it's just been great visiting with you. And any last words of wisdom you want to impart to all of our friends out there watching us?
No, just it's been great being on the show. It's been great, talking today about Inversion Point, and what we're looking to bring to the future of the industry, as well as Path of Purity, and talking about how we want to heal America, and just providing a greater path forward for people for greater health.
What about people that they're thinking, I want to be an entrepreneur, and I really admire what Stephen has done, and I love hearing his story, but I'm scared. I'm a little bit, because a lot of people are scared, right? They don't want to take that first step.
Sure. I was
advice?
terrified. I was terrified when I first did it, right? Because you come so used to working for someone, you have a steady check, right, and you're making decent money, right, and what you have to decide is, are you passionate enough to do this, right? There's gonna be times that you just want to, burn the place to the ground and just walk away, but you have to have that perseverance, that determination, that heart, that this is what you want, and you have a vision, and you just work towards that, and you have to just keep looking forward, right? You can't look at it day by day, otherwise you go crazy. You have this long-term vision. As long as you have that, you can definitely do it. As long as you have the determination, you'll achieve it.
Oh, that's great. Well, Stephen, thanks so much for being on the show, and we'll have you back in a couple of years to see how well these projects have progressed, and I can't wait to see all the exciting things that you're about to do.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks again. And we'll see you next week, same time, same station. Bye-bye, everybody.